Peter Blanc in Orlando at the AHA annual meeting for On the Scene, and with me is Bonnie Spring from Northwestern. We were talking about behavioral changes just a moment ago about her study, and I'm not going to take away anything from what she has to say, so I'm going to simply say this. We know we can change behavior if people are pushed to do it or paid to do it, and in fact that's a good thing. But now Bonnie has asked the question, can we change behavior without incentives? So Bonnie, tell me about your study. What did you do?
We treated 212 adults who had 4 bad diet and activity habits, and we had them track their behaviors, wear an accelerometer that gave them feedback, and upload their data to a coach who coached them by phone weekly. And then we followed them up until 9 months. And what we observed was that indeed they could change their behavior. It didn't matter whether we tackled each behavior simultaneously or sequentially. And they maintained these healthy diet and activity changes for 9 months.
So the behavioral things you were tracking were really diet and activity. Can you tell me more specifically what those 4 groups were?
Yeah, the 4 behaviors were they didn't eat enough fruits and vegetables, they had a diet too high in saturated fat, they didn't get enough moderate, vigorous physical activity, and they watched more than 2 hours a day of TV.
Okay, so the outcomes here are not clinical outcomes, they're behavioral outcomes. I know that offends you when I say that, but the fact of the matter is you wanted to see whether you could change behavior. What'd you find?
We found that we could. We had very large effects. We didn't need to pay people to do this, and they maintained the changes. And I would suggest that if we could get people to change these behaviors, we wouldn't be having so much difficulty with the clinical outcomes like heart attacks and strokes and premature mortality that we see.
Well, I think you're actually right on target, Bonnie. I think that the whole point here is if we can change behavior without forcing people to do it, and they do it spontaneously, in the long run, that can't be bad, and in fact is going to end up having much better outcomes years down the road. Are you going to do a longer study, or what's the plan for this kind of study?
We're trying to figure this out now. This is the second in a series of studies. I think what we might do next is to add weight loss to it, because one thing that's changed from our 2012 study is that 80% of these folks who had these bad lifestyle behaviors also were obese, so they obviously need help with that as well.
Well, that's going to be a tough one to tackle. So good luck on that, but it's important to say behavior can be changed, and that is not just a dumb outcome. That's an important one. Thank you.
Thank you.